Sibling Rivalry is a film that I really enjoyed, but there are aspects of it that I'm not 100% sure about with how I feel. So I initially watched this film because I love Kirstie Alley, and I was surprised that I hadn't actually watched it sooner. I kind of felt like I would have done, but I'm glad I didn't, because unbeknown to me when I started watching this, 10 minutes in or something like that, up pops Carrie Fisher. I am very much in love with Carrie Fisher, but had I watched this several years ago, I wouldn't have enjoyed that aspect of it because it wouldn't have meant anything to me. So I'm glad I waited. But was it ultimately worth the wait? I feel like it was. It's not Ali's strongest film. Her performance is brilliant, but it's not the strongest narrative, but it does have its moments. So this was released in 1990, directed by Carl Reiner and written by Martha Goldhirsh, and the narrative's pretty interesting. I feel like it sounds better than what it actually is when it's executed, but it's still not bad. So if you don't want to know what happens at all, I'd say stop listening now, watch the film, and then come back and let me know what you think. I will not be spoiling anything. I will not tell you how the narrative develops or what happens to the characters, but there's something that happens within the first 20 minutes or so. That's actually, it's what the whole film is about. The whole film revolves around this incident, but I didn't know it was going to happen because I read nothing about this, and I was very surprised, and it was quite entertaining, which is ironic given the subject matter. So if you want to go in completely blind, I would advise that, but from now I will talk about that major incident that drives the plot, but there won't be any actual spoilers. So if you've seen the film, you will be aware that this is, as the title suggests, it's about a married couple. And they each have, the husband has a brother who is more successful than him, and Harry, his older brother Charles, and Marjorie has a sister who is more carefree than she is. She may not be as successful, but she's more carefree, and she encourages Marjorie to have an affair. Marjorie is a very good girl, but she has this one affair with this random person she meets. And this person turns out to be Charles, the older brother of Harry, the perfect son. And then, after they've had sex, he dies of a heart attack. And the entire film obviously unravels all of this information. And when you find out these little elements, it's so fascinating, and it's done in such a way that's really quite entertaining, and I thoroughly enjoyed that aspect of it. And it's all about Marjorie trying to not reveal this to her family and her in-laws, trying to cover it up, and there are some other very interesting characters in there who have some very interesting roles. Nicholas is a brilliant character. The entire film, from start to finish, apart from the first kind of 5 minutes, it was very slow to begin with, but after that, I feel like it took on a good attitude, and for me that was because of Ali's performance. She is very over the top with a lot of it, but it works very well because her character is quite neurotic, and she's done this awful thing. She's never done anything like this before. It's had the worst possible outcome in every way, and it's lovely to see her character kind of getting progressively more anxious and having an increasing breakdown, which sounds harsh, but it's a comedy. It's a very funny film. So what's my problem with it? I just feel like at times it's a bit silly. There are certain things that happen that I feel weren't necessary. But then there are little things in it that could be deemed as silly, but I found quite interesting. So I think it's a film that I have to be in the mood for. And I was in the mood for it. But if I want something more serious, it's not going to be an interesting watch. Even if it's a serious comedy, this one for me would not tick all of the boxes. So if I had to give it a rating, I'd give it a 4 out of 5, maybe a 3.5 out of 5. But I did enjoy watching it. I did enjoy Kirstie Alley, and I did enjoy Carrie Fisher. Sibling Rivalry is a good film. It's not a great film, but I would still recommend it.